Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means Necessary. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It is much, much, much appreciated. There go to Cash App, $ Deem by any means. There go to PayPal at Deem by any means. So look. Y'all remember when Jaronennis was just fighting a couple weeks ago and people were saying that he got hit too much? But Jaronennis stopped David Avanesian earlier than Bud stopped David Avanesian, even though Bud got hit against David Avanesian, I think more. It's so funny, y'all, because Bud just went 12 rounds with a guy that got 11 fights and was getting hit a lot in that fight. And people saying it was a great performance. But what Jaronennis did, they was like, oh no, Bud are cooking. He got hit way too much. You gotta pick one, people. Jaronennis ain't get hit as much as Bud did against Madrimov. Madrimov got 11 fights. And you have people literally trying to sit up there and talk about an amateur career. Against Bud Crawford, I don't care how good you was in the amateurs. You shouldn't have a chance against the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Period. You shouldn't. And I think David Avanesian was an Olympian too, wasn't he? Never mind. But at the end of the day, it's just funny because I know y'all saw how people was trying to discredit Jaronennis, even though he stopped the man. But they bigging up Bud Crawford in a fight that he won against a guy that got 11 rounds. 11 fights. That wasn't a great performance. Did he win? Yes. Nothing was great about that performance. Nothing about that performance said, oh, he gonna beat up Jaronennis. Nothing. Not a nair nutter. I'm tired of narratives in boxing, and that's why Deem is here to destroy all of them. You can't be sitting up there criticizing Jaronennis when he stop a guy, but then say that Terence Crawford is out here looking amazing and he was getting hit with the same punch all night. From a guy who has 20 less fights than Jaronennis. From a guy that has 20 less fights than Jaronennis. And Jaronennis is a decorated amateur. That's how low we got to go when we talking about top pound for pound fighters. I don't want to hear nothing about amateurs. We're past that now, buddy. We're much past that now. I don't see how y'all don't see y'all hypocrisy. And everything y'all do, I keep telling y'all, if you scared, just say you scared. If you know that you don't want to see Terence Crawford versus Jaronennis because you think there's a great chance that Terence Crawford loses, say that. But don't keep trying to tear down Jaronennis to avoid a fight with Terence Crawford, because that's exactly what y'all doing. But guess what, y'all? If I was doing that same thing with Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis, y'all be saying Tank a duck. Y'all be saying we making excuses for Tank. Shakur Stevenson hasn't even looked that impressive his last 2 times out, and y'all still want Gervonta Davis to fight him. Jaronennis has looked nothing but impressive. And y'all make every excuse for him not to fight Terence Crawford, and I don't understand it. Well, I do understand it. Y'all just would never admit to it, though. That's all. I do literally understand it. Y'all just would never admit to it. See, it's funny because everybody will say, yo, Dean, we all know who everybody want to see fight. Everybody know we want to see Shakur and Loma, but when I sit up there and say everybody know we want to see Jaronennis and Boots, y'all sit up there and act like that didn't happen. Y'all sit up there and act like Terence Crawford has been getting asked about Virgil Ortiz or Barinchek. Y'all want to lie and make excuses when it benefits the fighter that you like. And that's what I'm here to expose. Bud Crawford has only been asked about 2 fighters. Nobody asked him about Madrimov. Nobody asked him about none of these other fighters. There has been only 2 fighters, maybe 3, but really 2 fighters that the public, the media, every interview he has been on has asked him about. That is Canelo Alvarez and jaronennis. And for y'all to sit up there and act like you don't know that, or you haven't heard that, I guess you only going deaf when it benefits your fighter. And I like Bud Crawford. That's why I'm not scared for him like y'all are. I know what fight would boost his legacy. I know what fight would get him the most money. I understand that. The same way I understood it was Errol Spence when that was happening. Oh, remember y'all was making excuses about getting that fight set up when really it would have benefited Bud for it to happen even earlier. Not against it. It would have benefited Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is the second best fighter of my lifetime. We are in the golden era of boxing, so it might be some people that can surpass him. But like today, right at this moment, he is the second best fighter of my lifetime, and he's not a pay-per-view star. That is a travesty. But Bud fans don't look at it as a travesty. I look at it as a travesty. Bud Crawford should have been a pay-per-view star 10 years ago. It's a shame when the most popular that you have been is when you're on your way out the door. For him to be the second best fighter of my lifetime, that is a travesty. And that's why I don't want it to happen no more. I actually want Bud to get the most money. I actually want Bud to get the most credit. Y'all sitting up there acting like y'all don't know what's the best fights for the man is egregious, man. And it's cowardly. We know the biggest 2 fights for Bud, the biggest 3 fights for Bud is Jermell, Jaron, and Errol Spence rematch. We all know that, but we're going to sit up here and act like we don't know that. Because you want Bud to be able to do whatever he wants to do. But when Gervonta Davis, the face of boxing, if I sat up there and said he gets to do whatever he wants to do, he ain't got to fight Shakur Stevenson. What has Shakur Stevenson done? What does Shakur Stevenson bring to the table? It's the same argument. Shakur Stevenson and Loma don't bring nothing to the table. They not selling out at their hometown. Jaronennis did. Y'all could want to act like Jaronennis is not a star. Well, y'all don't get to speak for us on the East Coast. Speak for yourself wherever you're at in a different part of the country. Speak for yourself. Come to the East Coast and see that. I guarantee you this. Jaronennis versus Terence Crawford will do better numbers than Madrimov versus Terence Crawford just did. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. But we gonna act like that's not true neither. This was supposed to be the best card ever. This was supposed to be the best card ever. It shouldn't even be no articles coming out that he didn't do that well by credible sources. They talking about the man ain't crack 150,000 pay-per-view buys. What are y'all talking about bringing stuff to the table? I know this, y'all. Jaronennis versus Terence Crawford will be his second biggest fight of his life. Y'all don't want that? Okay. Then how can you really sit up there and say that you a Bud fan when you know his biggest fight out there he's not taking? Don't nobody know Jaron, the Breakfast Club do. Every single platform that he goes on knows Jaronennis and asks Bud about him. But we're going to keep lying and say that that's the truth. We're going to act like Jaronennis ain't just had 15,000 people in the Wells Fargo. With a trash undercard, to be honest. Y'all like Turkey so much because you just imagine Jaronennis with Turkey Ali, Sheik putting his money behind him and giving him a stack undercard with Cool Boy Steph, Blair Cobbs, Tevin Farmer, putting them up, putting all the guys from Philly up against other credible names. Nah. Y'all gonna tell us over here on the East Coast that we not gonna buy it though, right? Y'all gonna lie and sit up there and say that that won't be sold out in the Wells Fargo. It's all good. It's all good, y'all. I understand where you're coming from, but let me make those same arguments for Gervonta Davis, who is 5 times bigger star than. How is Terrence Crawford the second best fighter of my lifetime, but probably not even a top 10 pay-per-view attraction of my lifetime? Terrence Crawford is the second best fighter of my lifetime, but it's not even a top 10 pay-per-view attraction of my lifetime. That is sad. But y'all continue to keep letting the man do what he's doing because it's not beneficial. Listen, it is what it is. I wouldn't want to be getting the most credit that I ever got when I'm 37 years old. That's just me. Gervonta Davis been his pay-per-view star for 5 years now. He's not even 30. Canelo Alvarez was a pay-per-view attraction 6 years ago. 7, 8 years ago, whenever he fought Floyd, that's how long he's been a pay-per-view attraction. We will all say that Terrence Crawford is better than both of them right now. Why people don't want to buy his fight. But then y'all okay with the man holding up the belts at 147 talking about what does Jaron accomplish? Trying to accomplish everything Bud did. Y'all already know what this is, though. Dean, buy, any means. And I holla at y'all.